guys, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Elaine, and on my channel I like to talk about bags from mid-range to vintage luxury. But today I'm actually going to be talking about watches. So I just started getting into the watch collecting world, and I started watching WatchTube, which is what I call YouTube videos about watches, maybe around 3-4 months ago. So, still relatively new, but I have dived right in. And so I did do a first watch collection video here. So if you're interested, you could catch that. But today I'm actually going to be talking about ladies' Rolex watches, more specifically vintage ones in the smaller size. So I have a small collection of 24mm and one 26mm vintage Rolex. I have 3 Oyster Perpetuals and 1 Datejust that I just got. And they're all vintage. So I think the newest one might be from 2004. So, maybe right on the cusp of vintage, and then the rest are from the 90s. To be honest, I think if you are looking into getting a Rolex and you have a smaller wrist like I do, so my wrist size is, I think to be precise, is like 5.3 inches. But I usually look for anything that can fit 5.5. Of course, with all watches, you can just adjust them. I think if you have a smaller wrist size, you're also at an advantage because you can always remove links, but it's harder to buy and add links. I feel like the watch world is very male dominated. They talk about watches in the larger size, and I feel like big watches dominate, even for women. So a lot of the vintage ones that are smaller, they haven't been as popular. So you can get them for a pretty good price, relatively, of course. We're talking about Rolex, so, it's all relative. I mean, not to say that I'm any sort of trend forecaster here, but I think they're going to come back in style. So anyways, I am a huge fan of small watches. I don't like heavy watches. I don't like heavy, clunky watches. So these vintage Rolexes are perfect for me. And I started it off with a 24mm size because they were the smallest and I wanted a small watch. And now I have one that's 26, which I really like. I'm looking to venture into 28 and 31 eventually. I will probably do another review, of course, on YouTube once, my watch collection changes. But right now I wanted to do it because I have one new watch in and I'm probably going to take one watch out, and wanted to, talk about it here before I let it go. So anyways, without further ado, I have these 3 24mm vintage Rolex watches. So I'll do close-ups, but my first one was actually this pink one. So this one is from 2004. I got this one from Fashion File. I think all in I paid just under $5,000, which is kind of a lot for me. I think for this size, you can get it from $3,000 to $4,000. Fashion File tends to be a little bit overpriced, but I also trust their authentication. Fake Rolexes are a dime a dozen. They're quite prevalent, so you do want to be careful. So at the same time, I did buy 2 other vintage Rolexes, 24mm from the Real, and I actually didn't know if they were real, so I sent them back, which is nice. I can do a return on watches on the Real, which is not true about bags. So anyways, this one seemed the best of the bunch, I guess, during that time. So one, the bracelet is fairly sturdy. Like, you're still gonna have some jangling. Like, that's just what vintage Rolexes are like for ladies anyway. They're known for not having the best quality bracelet, but it's still sturdy, feels very substantial. When I unscrew the crown and change the time, it's very smooth. There's no sort of like wiggle. I could tell like this is a really, really nice watch. But anyways, this is a salmon dial from, like I said, 2004. It's a kind of a pinkish, coppery pink kind of color, which I didn't think I would like because I'm not really a pink person. But one, I actually like the color. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like rose gold. And then 2, looking at my Chinese zodiac, horoscope, pink and dark green are sort of my lucky colors. And so, I was like, it doesn't hurt to have a pink dial watch. So yeah, this is actually probably my most worn watch. Right after that, I did get this watch, which is a really nice, simple watch. I got this off of Brandier, which is a Japanese reseller on eBay. This one has the fluted bezel. Again, it's an Oyster Perpetual 24 millimeter in a white dial. I don't know if they call it white, but you know, it's like a silvery white. It's a very simple watch. I actually appreciated that the fluted bezel does kind of catch the light, you know, makes it a little bit more interesting. For the most part, trust Japanese resellers. They're really strict about counterfeits, plus their attention to detail is, you know, very good. So I feel like if I'm gonna get high-end items, luxury items, Japan and, you know, Japanese resellers are usually my go-to. This one out of the bunch has the best feeling sort of crown. So it's very easy for me to unscrew the crown, change the time is also the smoothest and easiest to screw it back in. The other two, I sometimes struggle just a little bit, so I don't know why, but this one is super easy. But it is kind of plain. I don't wear it as often, but I got this for a really good deal, even with the tariffs, which were, believe you me, ridiculous. So this was before eBay was including the tariffs in the price, so it was like a surprise, but not a good surprise. I think it got it for like about $2,500, $2,800, so well below $3,000, which I thought was a great deal. But then tariffs was an additional $1,000. So like, what? You know, so I mean, in the end, it was still less than my pink dial or salmon dial watch, which was just under 5. I think this was closer to like the 35, just under 4. So yeah, I mean, in the end, it was still a good value, but what a surprise. And then my last 24 millimeter vintage Rolex is this black dial with a machine turned bezel. So this one I purchased in Osaka, Japan from a reseller called Quark Salon. So it's, I think, fairly on the smaller side, but they do have several outposts in Japan. They actually had the best price on the 24 millimeter Rolexes. So right across the street was another, I don't know if it was a Komehyo, but it was another luxury reseller that also was selling vintage Rolexes, and pretty much the exact same watch, except it didn't have the machine turned bezel. It was just a regular bezel, but with a black dial, Oyster Perpetual 24 millimeter. I think they were selling it for about, I want to say $3,500. And then with Japan right now, it's still tax free. So immediate tax free, so you don't have to pay taxes, which might change in November. They're saying that come November, it's going to change to more of the European style where you're going to have to pay the taxes and then get a rebate at the airport. So we'll see. But for now, instant tax rebate. So you just pay for the cost of the watch. And this one came out to just under 3,000, like 29 something. This one, I liked it because of the machine turned bezel. It's not quite the fluted bezel, so it's not quite as flashy. I also really wanted a dark dial, but I have to say I wear this one the least. And I don't know if it's just me being superstitious, but I gotta say, I haven't had the best of luck when I wear this watch, which made me want to wear it even less. It's almost like, I don't know, do you believe in like bad juju or bad vibes, or, you know, coming from a piece of, you know, jewelry or a bag or accessories? I don't normally, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. I just haven't been like, so I'm kind of like, and I guess I'm in my like superstitious phase because the watch I wear the most is quote unquote my lucky watch. And then this one has not been great. So I'm actually going to be selling this watch because I did get a brand new watch for my birthday. I did do an unboxing. So pretty sure I'm going to be selling this one. I'm going to be selling it to the RealReal because that's where I usually sell my stuff. Though this is my first time selling a Rolex to the RealReal. We'll see. I mean, if you guys are interested, I could disclose what they consign it for and what I end up getting for it. And then also, you know, whether or not I take a loss on this or not. But I mean, $2,900, just under $3,000, no tax. It was a fairly good deal. But otherwise, the watch is in excellent condition. So we'll see. Maybe I just needed to like sage it or something, you know, change up the vibes. But last but not least, my newest addition to my vintage Rolex collection is 26 millimeter two-tone Datejust. As you can see, it has the diamond markers along with a gold fluted bezel. I got this one off of the RealReal. So yeah, I kind of took a gamble on it. I did get it for a fairly good price. I think just around 6,000. The dial is, they call it computer style or something. So it has the word Rolex on it as part of the design. I actually like it that it's, I mean, you can kind of see it if you stare at it and at the right light, but for the most part, it just kind of looks like a grayish brownish dial, which I like. I really wanted a two-tone just because my jewelry is definitely two-tone. Like I like to mix my metals. Used to be a lot more of a gold only, wearer, jewelry buyer, but white gold and silver is making a comeback and has been for the last 5 years ish. So, now I do wear a lot more silver, and especially these watches are all stainless steel. So I have been kind of wearing a lot more silver jewelry to kind of go with these two watches. But yeah, it's really nice to have a two-tone. I do feel like it fits my stack really well as my rings. It did make me want to go onto the Rolex website, and I was like, well, if I could customize my dream Rolex, not a vintage one, and get it brand new, what would it look like? So I have some images here, but I do want a two-tone, but I want like the Oyster Link bracelet instead of the Jubilee. Jubilee's nice, but it does kind of look more retro, more vintage, very old style, and not really my vibe. So I really like the two-tone, the oyster style bracelet with a simple dial, but I really like it in that slate gray color. So anyways, that's sort of like a wish list item. We'll see if it ever comes to fruition, since it is very expensive and I'm pretty sure pretty hard to get, but we'll see. Anyways, that is my small but mighty vintage Rolex collection. What did you think? And that's it. And if you've watched this all the way through, thank you so much. If you could like or subscribe, that would greatly support my channel. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.